Man, so the Jets lose to the Patriots on Thursday Night Football, 14-27. First of all, credit Josh McDaniels. Josh McDaniels had an excellent day calling plays. Right? I mean, you look at that Patriots offensive line, they were tremendous. I felt like they protected Drake May they just did such a great job. And you look at Josh McDaniels being able to pick up on some of the tendencies from Steve Wilkes. I mean, he just felt like he was putting Sherwood on an island, hitting guys over them, scheming guys open in the middle of the field. It was just, never really getting too conservative with the running game, never getting too aggressive with the passing game. Just this nice flow, this nice balance. Credit Josh McDaniels. He did a great job. A plus night for Josh McDaniels here. And I don't want to sound over dramatic here in regards to the Jets, because let's face it, the Jets were like 13.5-point underdogs coming in. Everybody in the world picked New England to win this game. This was the expected result here. Like, you're going to play New England in their house on a short week. The Patriots are a 9-2 football team after tonight on this massive winning streak, and they kept on talking about it in the broadcast, right? Showing up the graphic. Drake May could very well win MVP. That is totally realistic here. So of course it was going to be a tough test for this Jets team without Braylon Allen, without Garrett Wilson, without AVT and all these guys. Kind of a banged up Will McDonald as well. And they're still trying to get used to this new young team, rolling out two young wide receivers in Mitchell and Mechie, no Quinnen, no Gardner, no Michael Carter. There's going to be a learning curve here, right? So again, I don't want to sound over dramatic with what I'm about to say, but this loss, it just stings because you felt like, given the context, just everything that we just talked about, just how much this game favored New England, there were so many chances that the Jets had right in front of their face, and they could not seize the moment. They could not take advantage of him, right? I mean, they took advantage of opportunities against the Bengals. They took advantage of opportunities against the Cleveland Browns, not as much as Cincinnati, but still good enough to get the job done and walk away victorious. But in this game, I mean, there were just chance after chance after chance after chance after chance to flip the script, to gain back momentum, to possibly create a big play, to create the Jets had 2 dropped Drake May picks in the first half alone. I would argue 3, but 2 for sure. Oh my God. I mean, you look at the pass rush. You look at the pass rush or the lack of pass rush for this Jets team in the first half. It was just, you're watching Drake May drop back. He looks so calm. It's so effortless. And mind you, Stephon Diggs is a good player. But it's not like the Patriots have the Cincinnati Bengals firepower on that offense. It's not like he's rolling out A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith. No, it's not the case. Drake May does not have this, ginormous arsenal of weapons at his disposal, but he's able to sit in the pocket. One of the biggest things that we were talking about on the defensive side in the preview video yesterday was, if you want to have a chance in this game to shock everybody on the defensive side of the football again, you must create pressure. The Patriots have had a very difficult time protecting May this season. They're literally coming into the day, they were giving up their sack percentage on the offensive line was over 10%. That's bottom 3 in football. So you're thinking, okay, Jermaine Johnson coming off a sack, Quincy Williams coming off a sack, Will McDonald coming off of 4 sacks against Cleveland. We have to be able to generate pressure. Lots of press man, bump and run, getting wide receivers off their block. But it felt like the Jets were, and Wilkes specifically, was continuing to try to get home, whether it was with his front 4 or rushing 5 or 6, and the Jets just simply were not getting there. Yeah, you can talk about like the Jermaine Johnson sack late, but the Jets just couldn't really, at that point in the game, it just felt like it was too far gone. And yes, of course, right, if you just look at sacks alone, that's one thing. But if you're looking at how often is May drifting back in the pocket, how often is he saying, or, as fans, are we saying he looked uncomfortable there, or he rushed that throw, he tried to get rid of the football, he threw it in the dirt, he launched it out of bounds, maybe he threw it too early, maybe he's confused with the coverage. It felt very calculated. And again, credit Josh McDaniels here because he knew exactly what was going on. He knew exactly how to attack this Jets defense. But you just felt like defensively, God, it was just on full display tonight, right? We need an edge three. We need an edge three. We've been saying it all season long, and tonight is why, right? You're seeing Will McDonald kind of getting cycled in and out. You just know he's still banged up. He's not 100%. You have Jermaine Johnson, first year coming back from the Achilles. Brady McGregor didn't play. Clemens just kind of had like a classic Clemens game where he was, he's okay against the run, but just when you have him out in space, he's just like, you can just get by him so easily. If you're a running back, if you're a quarterback, whatever, if you have Clemens in space, he just bites on every single thing possible. And then you're looking at Tyler Barron, who's a rookie 6th round pick that should not even be playing in the first place. I think that's one of the reasons why a lot of Jets fans here continue to suggest attacking edge in the draft, right? We have all these extra draft picks, and by the way, quick side note, this is a very, very, very good class for the edge position. I mean, whether you want to talk about in round 1, round 2, I could sit here, I could do a 20-minute side tangent talking about how much I love some of these players. Right, Howell from Texas A&M, Ruben Bain from Miami, Rhodes from Arkansas, T.J. Parker from Clemson. Like there's a lot of players that I have my eye. I like David Bailey. Would he be the best system fit? It's a different story for a different day, right? Point is, the Jets really, really, really need help at edge. We must get more talent there. You cannot argue that. It is a fact. We need more pass rush off the edge. We need more bodies, we need more talent. If Wilkes wants to rotate these guys in and out like he does, we need more. And instead of getting too caught up like, oh, okay, well, who's going to be the quote unquote starters? Will McDonald going to drop down to the bench and we're going to have this rookie be the starter? Is that the smart thing? Is Will going to be irritated by it? Is Jermaine going to get dropped down to the bench when you draft a 1st round pick and he's not a starter? Is that bad optics? Before just diving into all of that stuff, like the semantics of it all, I feel like it's irrelevant because of the amount of rotation that Wilkes likes to deploy here. It's not like before in the past where it was like Jermaine Johnson, Will McDonald, and we also had Bryce Huff, and we had more depth on the inside, and Quinnen was obviously here during those solid days. So we used to have a lot more depth there, and for whatever reason, Joe Douglas decided to blow it up, just voluntarily getting rid of players, not bringing certain guys back. But that, I think, was a major reason why the Jets were so ineffective on defense tonight. Because look, if you're sending 5, 6 players at the quarterback and they're not getting home, and you're playing man coverage on the back end with starting a rookie strong safety Malachi Moore and Tony Adams, who's a below average free safety, yet also no Sauce Gardner out in the field, that's not really, I don't even care who the wide receivers are, that's not really a good plan of attack. Again, it's just simple math, right? You want to rush 6, play man coverage, and you can't get home, Drake May, who's, again, one of the MVP leaders here, is going to find the open guys with the corners, backs, turn to him. It's just as simple as that. And then, of course, you have McDaniels working on the sidelines with May, going over what they just saw in the previous drive. So that, to me, was just such a big issue. But, of course, we do have to talk about the elephant in the room, which is Justin Fields, and once again, the poor passing attack. I mean, how you just feel like Tanner Engstrand is completely handcuffed with Fields as a passer. Running is one thing. I love Fields as a runner, him in open space. I get that, right? I understand who Justin Fields is up to this point. We are, in week 11 now? And we've seen this over and over and over, right? Against last week, Cleveland Browns, tonight against the Patriots, against the Carolina Panthers, Dallas Cowboys, Buffalo Bills, Denver Broncos. It's just the passing game is not there. And blame whoever you want, right? Blame Tanner, blame Glenn, blame the wide receivers, blame the offensive line protection, blame Fields. I think there's a lot of blame to go around. But I do feel like just watching play calling tendencies from Tanner Engstrand, understanding where he came from, who he's learned under, Jim Harbaugh, Dan Campbell, Ben Johnson. He's been around some really, really smart offensive minds. Deuce, right, when he was over in Detroit. You just feel like there's more to Tanner's game. There's more to Tanner's playbook, but it's just not being shown because of execution. And again, at that point, it's just got to be maddening because it's like, why aren't we playing Taylor? Is Taylor that bad? What's the connection to Fields? And I understand from Glenn's perspective because Fields as a runner, as an extender, is solid. He is effective. But when it's coming at the cost of you not being able to complete a pass or not being able to have 70 passing yards at halftime, no matter who you're playing against, it just feels very one-dimensional. One-dimensional, I think, is a good word to describe Justin Fields this season. Hanging back in the pocket, taking sacks, not being decisive, looking at open guys and throwing late, looking at open guys and holding on to the football, putting too much on the football, overthrowing, underthrowing passes. Fields was, how many times have we said this? He was not a draft. The Jets did not draft Fields. They did not sign him to a 5-year deal and then they now have to worry about it like Tua in Miami. He's not on this $100 million deal. We have to pay him, or Deshaun Watson, Cleveland, Kirk Cousins, Atlanta. None of those things are true. What is the hesitation to potentially move? This would be, I think, my plan of attack, right? I think for the remainder of this week and a half here, getting ready for the following week, or the following game rather, Taylor's getting QB1 snaps, and I'm making that call early in the week. But I'm not going to completely eliminate Fields. I would almost use Justin Fields and Aaron Glenn might have actually been a part of this back in New Orleans. Do you remember how Sean Payton used to utilize Taysom Hill just as this wildcat quarterback, as this weapon, this, quarterback / wide receiver who could come in and you can call a quarterback power, a quarterback draw. You could run a reverse to him. You could have him run wildcat, run RPOs, and still have him throw occasionally, bring him in on 2-point conversions, 4th down and goals, like the 3rd down and inches, tush push situations. I would use Justin Fields is this just like the Saints did with Taysom Hill back in the day, where he's coming in and getting 4 or 5 snaps a game. That way you're not completely taking out his legs. If Glenn is so tied to that, if Tanner's so tied to that, I highly doubt it. But I think this is more so a Glenn executive decision, just my guess. Because even when Taylor is in the game, he's turned the ball over, but you just feel like there's more life to the passing attack. So it is what it is. The Jets are a 2-win team, and they lost to literally one of the best teams in football, again, on a short week. So we can't make too big of a deal out of it. I was sitting there watching Fields. I think it might have been at halftime. I'm like, do we just fully embrace Fields as a runner and just hand it off every play? Just go Paul Johnson, Georgia Tech, right? Like 2008 and on, right? Where it's triple option, wishbone offense, run it every play. You have 2 passing attempts per game or something like that. But no, in all seriousness, I would move to Taylor just to get a little bit more consistency, maybe get more of a steady hand. At least the ball you feel like would come out a little bit more. And then I would still utilize Fields as a runner. So you're essentially highlighting Fields, his skill set, his strengths. We're putting that on display and we're saying, okay, these are the things that you're not good at. We're not going to ask you to do. And I'm not saying Tyrod Taylor is the top 15 quarterback here, but I just feel like he gives you the better chance to win. So anyway, let me know your thoughts down below in the comment section. Not really a ton, in my opinion, to kind of dive into here. You just kind of feel like it was just mistake after mistake. Drops, poor throws, poor tackling, linebackers getting caught in open space, Sherwood especially, and not being able to rush the passer. I really feel like this game kind of just came down to those core aspects. So anyway, let me know your thoughts down below in the comment section. Thank you guys so much for watching. I appreciate it. It's so late. So yeah, hope you guys, get a good night's sleep too and be, all good for work tomorrow and school tomorrow. So yeah, appreciate you guys. And as always, Coach Jets.